Lawyers, is there a case you regret winning? I was a rookie defense attorney when I got assigned to defend this guy named Rick who was accused of hitting a kid with his car. The victim was an 8-year-old boy named Tommy who was riding his bike home from school. Rick claimed it wasn't his fault, said the kid came out of nowhere, ran a stop sign on his bike. The prosecution had some witnesses, but their stories didn't match perfectly. I found every hole in their case. I attacked the witness testimonies, questioned the accident reconstruction, even got the kid's medical records thrown out on a technicality. The prosecutor was this older woman who'd been doing this for 20 years. She kept looking at me like I was making a huge mistake, but I was young and hungry. I wanted to win. Rick was this quiet insurance salesman with no criminal record. Clean cut, well-dressed, seemed genuinely upset about the whole thing. He had a wife and 2 kids of his own. I would never hurt a child on purpose, he told me with tears in his eyes. This accident is destroying my family. The kid, Tommy, had been in a coma for 3 weeks. Brain damage, broken ribs, collapsed lung. His parents sat in that courtroom every single day, holding hands and praying. But I had reasonable doubt. The witnesses saw different things. The physical evidence wasn't perfect. I hammered away at every inconsistency. My closing argument was brilliant. I talked about how accidents happen, how sometimes terrible things occur with nobody really at fault. I made the jury question everything they thought they knew. We won. Rick walked free. His wife hugged me, crying with relief. He shook my hand and said I saved his life. The local newspaper wrote about my impressive courtroom performance. I felt like a real lawyer for the first time. I'd beaten a veteran prosecutor and gotten justice for my client. Or so I thought. 2 weeks later, I was having drinks with my investigator, Marcus. He'd done most of the legwork on the case, interviewed witnesses, checked out the accident scene. You know what's weird about that Rick case? Marcus said, staring into his beer. I went back to that intersection last week. There's no way that kid ran a stop sign. What do you mean? There is no stop sign on that street. Never was. I checked with the city planning office. Rick lied about the whole thing. My stomach dropped. I asked Marcus why he didn't tell me this during the trial. I tried calling you 3 times that last week. You were too busy preparing your closing argument to call me back. I figured you already knew. I drove to that intersection that night. Marcus was right. No stop sign. Never had been one. The city records showed that street never had any stop signs installed. Rick had completely made up that part of his story, and I'd been so focused on attacking the prosecution's case that I never verified my own client's version of events. The next day, I did something I'd never done before. I hired a private investigator to dig into Rick's background. What I found made me sick. Rick had 2 previous accidents involving children. Both times he'd claimed the kids ran in front of his car. Both times the cases were settled out of court with sealed records. He wasn't some innocent family man. He was a guy who drove recklessly in school zones and then lied about it when kids got hurt. But here's the worst part. Tommy, the kid from my case, never woke up from his coma. He died 4 months after the trial. His parents tried to sue Rick in civil court, but my criminal defense had created enough doubt that they couldn't prove liability. They got nothing. I'd helped a repeat offender walk free, and a family lost their son with no justice at all. That case taught me something important. Winning isn't always the same thing as doing what's right. I left criminal defense after that. Now I do family law, helping people get divorced and sort out custody. Much less dramatic, but I sleep better at night. Rick moved to another state 6 months later. I heard through a colleague that he got arrested again last year for hit and run, this time involving a teenager on a skateboard. Some victories feel like defeats 20 years later.